Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, here at the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California, ain't it? Hey everyone, This is Liza. We're starting out lean, and then we're going to be building up from there. With me in the Zoom meeting, it's Bagel.
And just because I like to stir up controversy, let's make Harley metric again.
Hey Bagel, do me a favor. Your mic is kind of Your mic is kind of blowing it out. Are you able to pull it away a little bit?
I can pull it away a little. Is that better?
Yeah.
How's that sound? All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Sporting his Rona hair, as am I. It's Knock.
Sup?
Dude, I don't know if you're aware of the visual, man. You got the fan on. It's blowing my hair.
Sexy, son.
Exactly, man.
Sexy, you know what?
It's like Flashdance.
It's all an elaborate studio to make you think that I'm a poor man living in a single apartment. Live in a mansion.
Nice.
You're succeeding.
Feeling the pain with me. It's Naked Jim.
Peace, love, and soul, baby. And ride dirt.
Yeah.
I'm feeling no pain. When the dirt hits you, you feel no pain.
So
I find that remarkably the opposite of that.
No, that's when you hit the dirt. That's when you feel the pain.
Yeah.
That's when you wheelie, Knock.
Yeah. It's never the wheelie. It's always the landing.
Yep.
And we got Emma coming and a super secret special guest coming, and I don't know where Mike
Very
is.
exciting.
But I thought we'd share. So Jim and I just got back from our weekend training with Jocelin Snow. We mentioned we were going to do it. I was a bit scared. I thought I was going to get killed. Turns out I'm a survivor, as is Jim. So we went over to her house, and in her backyard, she's got set up her own training facility where I think she has trained some of the GS Trophy competitors, helped them out. It's like a friends thing. It's an amazing setup. So I thought we'd share like some of the challenges that we did or didn't succeed at. Now, Jim, you succeeded at everything, didn't you? Well, no.
Yeah, except directions.
Almost everything.
Except directions, yeah.
You got 5 feet.
Yeah, it was super fun.
You got 5 feet further than I did on the last obstacle.
Yes, I did. I did get 5 feet. Yeah.
So it was really cool, and she had her friend Jarrett there. Jarrett was on the show when Jocelyn was on a few weeks ago, and so he came up. He is a handsome man, I'll say. I got a little man crush going, who can ride the bejesus out of that bike, and he's only been riding bikes for a year and a half. Let's put it this way. Everything that they set us up to do that we were or weren't successful in, he did a demo doing it, not just riding side saddle, but riding with both legs on one side, with his right foot on the left peg and his left foot hanging out.
Is that the Fred Astaire or what's her name version backwards with the heels on?
The Ginger Rogers version?
Yeah,
He made it look
something
that
like that.
smooth, I'll tell you what.
Backwards
He was
with heels.
smooth.
So Jim, let's talk about some of the challenges that we did, because the first thing that she did was just gave us a lot of like tutorials, a lot of like classroom, just explaining things.
Yeah, I liked it because we've been bugging her forever, like trying to, hey, can you hit this, that, and the other. So, it's like her own little setup where she trains at. So, she was gracious enough to let us, play around in there. And it was great because it was nice to have someone teach you in a linear, this is what I got out of it anyway, a linear fashion, like start here, things like grip, things like, it's like, wow. And it really built in a progression. So it was a really fun way to learn. It seemed really slow, but that was fine. Like I told her, I like the slow because you build confidence. But I'm trying to, do you describe some of the obstacles in there?
Well, I'll start with,
it goes increasing difficulty, or is it just different kinds of activities, and then you just stack them apart?
It's just learning different skills that all come together to help you on these obstacles.
Here's the alpha to the zeta. Is that what it is or whatever? Is you start with just sitting on the bike, both hands on the handlebars, and just using the clutch to ride the bike.
Mm-hmm.
At the end,
or not a clutch.
Or not a clutch, yeah. So you just clutch control, sitting both feet down. At the end, you're riding over cars. So it's a progression from clutch control to everything that would call to ride two cars end to end.
Yeah,
So
so
you
like,
build, and it's like what, at least a dozen exercises to build to that point.
yeah, like riding, standing up one hand and just learning how to control the bike just with the balance, and you're just barely touching. Well, for me, the throttle, for them, the clutch. So a lot of it is balance, but it's technique. It's strictly technique. You have to remember
It's getting off the center of the bike. Getting off center.
She's a certified BMW trainer.
It sounds like a big bike stud school.
Let me tell you where it started to get fucked up.
It is.
Let me tell you that. She's
Get to the good part.
She's very good at building up your confidence. She did this thing where she took a tire and she set it on the ground. And we were about 10 feet away from the tire, maybe 8 feet. She says, visualize the tire. And this is teaching you don't look at the obstacle in the road, you're looking up. She says, look at it, now close your eyes, walk up to it, step in the middle, and walk out. Because this is what you should be doing on a bike. You take a picture of something, then you look up to where you're going to be going, not what's in front of you. So we're doing that. We're getting pretty confident. Jim and I are like, let's step it up. Let's move back to 15 feet. Like, we're just, having fun, right?
Having fun.
And then, okay, now you've learned to visualize. Now we're going to put blindfolds and let you ride.
Oh, that's
blacked
nice.
out goggles. Blacked out goggles. And
Blacked
how
out goggles.
Use the force.
Ride across a field. If you hear an air horn, you might be about to hit something. And you have to visualize a chalk circle on the other side of the field, like, I don't know, 50 yards away maybe.
But this is like a mowed down Salinas hayfield with gophers and shit. It's not
and
smooth
ruts
at all.
and
It gets sandy. Anyway,
right.
Yeah, and it was about 50 yards away. So the idea was to ride about 50 yards blindfolded and try to end up in the circle. It taught a lot of different things. Neither one of us got close. Every time you think you got kind of close, you're like, fucking near.
Jim made it about 25 yards offline to the left before he just fell over.
Well, the first time I went about 5 feet and fell over.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to do this, but, I'm going to do it because that was my agreement to myself, just going to try all the things and trust. I probably went about 10 feet. Fall over. God damn it. I tried it twice. I fell over both times. The first time I almost fell. I caught it. I tried to guess where the circle was. I took off riding again and stacked. It's like, okay.
Well,
I totally want to do this now.
Yeah. Well, what she builds on, because then there's all this crazy like obstacle shit, like and then they have names like Gravedigger, and it's a tractor tire fucking sticking out of the ground, and then there's. But the whole thing is it's building confidence in it. All this stuff, it's just illusions. It's just illusions. It's distractions to keep your head up and balance. And it was confidence building as much as skill. Really, I think it was more confidence building, honestly.
Yeah, and so some of the skills that we've done here on the mini bikes that I thought was really cool. There's a thing called the coffee grinder that we have set up here. And it's a long pole, maybe like 10 feet long is how long ours is. Anchored at one end on a pivot, the other end in a cradle, and you have to ride up to it. And for people with clutch bikes, with your throttle hand, so you're just using clutch control, standing, you pick it up off the cradle and you complete a circle and put it back into the cradle. For me, it was just with my throttle, which was a little bit harder sometimes because with the clutch you can smooth it out. With my throttle, it's just like
So were you finding the limitations of your throttle response on your bike? Were there like settings that you could have pushed?
Definitely throughout the weekend discovered the pros and cons of the DCT. And I would say overall there were more pros for somebody riding at my skill level than cons.
I just don't know why I'm not seeing you wheelie it more, Liza. They were wheeling it.
I know. I know.
You haven't found the right button combination for that yet?
Hello.
Aloha!
There she is.
we're just giving a quick report on our training with Jocelin.
Yes.
So there was a thing too where you have to. There were a bunch of, and these are things. The reason I'm sharing this, these are things that anyone can do. You can set it up in a parking lot or anywhere, like we've done. Traffic cones lined up about 6 feet apart, and with a tennis ball on every other one, and you had to go and, as you're riding by, pick the tennis ball up, drop it on the next cone, then pick up the next tennis ball, drop it on the next cone. That's something we've tried here, and that takes a lot of control, slow riding control, balance, and so that was something that anyone can do, and it was fun.
Well, Jocelyn has these YouTube videos, and and there's tons of stuff you can do in your driveway, actually. But I'm curious, Liza. So, which one did you think you kind of? Which one did you like the most? What part did you?
Well, I rocked the barrel. The
Right,
barrel
so the
was
barrel
one.
with the rope.
It's a barrel full of like concrete, right? And it's got a rope that's about 20 feet long. And you ride up and you grab the end of the rope that someone's holding, and then you start wrapping it around the barrel so your circumference is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
So it's all clutch control.
Nice.
So I got it down to about, it's like 6 feet of rope, so pretty tight.
Which one sucked the most for you? Which one did you take?
Well, the ones I didn't do. The sand and the gravel. The one that Jim rolled out of like an alligator in a death roll.
So, like, everybody just dropped their bikes, right? That's just the first thing that happens. Like,
Yeah, you drop.
Not the first thing, but it does happen.
You got to get used to that. Okay, so
Um,
now, aside from dropping the bike, was picking it up, was that mostly the pain in the ass part? Or, like, by the end of the day, you're like, I got this, I figured it out?
Well, we all just jumped in and helped.
Okay.
But we learned, but like Liza and I, we're trying to learn how we help. If it's just her and I, how we pick up a bike. So we got lots of like tips and techniques on different ways, especially how to not fuck your back up, like how to keep. Well, it's funny to keep your eyes up and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff we did, so you were driving over tires through sand, and when you say sand, she actually excavated out. So the sand is like, I don't know, 5-6 feet deep or something.
Yeah, it's
There's
bullshit.
no bottom to it.
It's bullshit.
But that, so the sand was really cool. I thought that was good. I was really proud, Liza. You have to ride the length of a telephone pole. Long ways.
It's like 20 feet.
Fucking long, I'll tell you that.
20
And
feet long.
I really enjoyed Liza because you were like at it, and it took you about 5 times, and eventually you rode the whole length of the thing. It was great.
Yeah, so almost all of these techniques you're learning are standing up. And I tried everything standing up, but then because of my knees, I get to a point where I can't do that anymore. I can't do the up and down. So I'm going to go over here and practice and learn how to find my own technique. Like on that barrel wrap, I was sitting down with hanging off the side of the bike, leaning the bike with my inside leg in the air as a counterbalance.
You're like, I refuse.
That's what you do, though. But it's cool. I mean, I have to keep going. But what all of it really was teaching you was to keep your eyes up. Like even just riding on a plank on the ground, how you think it's hard until you pick your eyes up, and you're doing it no problem. So it was all teaching you to keep your eyes up, and be confident. That was really like so much of. There's tons of techniques and tricks and all these little things, but so much of it was just like keeping your eyes up and being confident. It was really, but the way she works you up from literally this clutch control to riding on a plank on the ground, like we did. I kept doing that just to practice.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're doing these. There's one massive teeter totter, then there's a thin teeter totter that actually it's long, so it bows. When you hit it, the bike bows the fucking thing, and then it comes up over the teeter totter. But there's been this really slow, natural progression of basically riding on skinny things with your eyes up. And then you go to the next thing, and it's just easier. It's amazing how capable the bikes are. It just never ceases to astound.
I have a question for you, Jim. Do you think that you were at the disadvantage with manual transmission?
I'm going to say...
I'm not sure how to answer that, to be honest.
No, because all the technique is about control.
That's why I asked the question.
Well,
So let's rephrase it back to you, Liza. Because the bike is, to a certain extent, the bike is riding you and you're not riding the bike. Do you think you were at a disadvantage with your DCT?
So the only place that I don't know if it's a disadvantage per se, but I knew it was going to be problematic, and I called it beforehand. We were riding up. It's called a reservoir up on the property, and there's an uphill, and it's kind of sandy and brushy.
It's really loose.
And then it's like a crater in the middle where there used to be a reservoir, and then you have to ride up out of the crater up over the lip, not seeing the other side, which is then equally steep going down. It's like a crater.
Loose.
And I said, I'm confident going up. We were kind of looking at like, ooh, going up, sketchy. I'm like, no, I'm good going up. Going down, I'm like, I don't know if I have engine braking. When I back off the throttle, does it go into neutral or do I have engine braking? Because it was soft dirt. So and if you launch too fast, because again, I don't know how big the plateau is at top. It wasn't. It was the length of a bike before
that little trail ride was a lot harder. They said, "Oh, a little narrow, this and a little steep." I'm like, no big deal. I'm like, holy shit.
I launched up, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going down, and then there's a pit at the bottom, so you have to turn out of it in soft dirt, and my bike just locked up, slid the wrong way, so I couldn't steer out of it. And again, I announced, I'm going.
So
how many times did you go down today?
Yeah, 2 yesterday, 2 today.
Okay, so that's not bad. You, Jim?
I think 5 total.
Okay,
I had one pretty gnarly get off, but I did okay. The rest were just get offs.
Okay.
So how much are you guys riding around the limitations of your motorcycle? Because I know, Liza, you were saying that you were having issues with throttle control, but like it sounds like you adapted to whatever shortcoming you had with your bike.
I'll tell you what I did get more comfortable with, and what we both did. These are big bikes, especially mine. It's a big honking bike.
Yeah.
But it feels like a dirt bike when it's going. So we learned to really slide the rear end around, either while accelerating. I was just riding around the property a lot of the time. Like when it's like, hey, it's a water break, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just riding around. I'm like sliding out turns, but also braking and turning as you go.
Yeah.
The wheel around. But
what I'll say, knock is not nearly how capable the bikes are. When you see how capable they are is when Jocelin or Jared get on, and then you're watching them do what they call elephant turns. They'll go ripping down, lock up the rear brake, turn their head, do the stuff, and next thing they do, make a U-turn and then punch it coming back out. It's the coolest looking thing. And I tried that I like all day, like Liza said, in between stuff. I would keep doing it, and not nearly as close as those guys can. So
you were doing kind of like pivot turns where you leave the bike down while at a standstill and kind of do quick.
No, it's like you're accelerating in first gear. And these are big bikes. You're doing maybe 20 or 30. Lock up the rear brake, and then I won't go through the whole thing, but you lock up the rear brake, fishtail out, because you're basically going to make a U-turn. So you lock up the rear brake, U-turn, then get back on the throttle to peel out and come back the other way.
Gotcha.
We've only got a few minutes before our super secret special guest comes on. I just want to say, Jim, let's talk real quickly about the last thing we tried, the roller coaster. This is fucked up. This was fucked up. If you
so I got to ride over the cars end to end. So I made because if you don't do the whole progression, you kind of can't do it all. So anyway, cars to cars. So then the last thing is a roller coaster. So it's about 2 feet wide.
Yeah, think of like a boardwalk of 2x2s with a gap between each one on rails. And here's where it's fucked up. It's not like you're going in a straight line. You get up onto it, and the first thing you have to do while you're, maybe 3 feet in, 4 feet?
3 feet, no more.
90-degree turn on 2 feet of track. So your rear wheel will fall off if you do not ride the outside edge perfectly and do a slow 90-degree turn.
Yeah, with the wheel all the way. Your butt's way out.
So
if you make it past that, then it continues at about 2 feet wide with an up and down roller coaster motion that will tilt to the left
and right.
Then it'll be an old tire, like a skid steer loader tread.
Yeah.
Then
it's like you're riding on farm equipment.
But then you're basically over a farm tire. So when you got to get up, and then your belly pan's going to rub. So you got to get over that. Then what's in front of you?
More tire tread?
More tilted shit, but then you hit a ramp.
Oh, yeah, the
fucking
giant
straight
ramp.
up. A big ramp takes you up about 10 feet, a plateau, and then you go downstairs.
And both of our last crashes were on this thing. I was trying it, even though like you can't do it sitting down. I'm like, I want to
We broke
try.
the fuck out of it. We broke the whole shitload of it.
Because you try and do that turn and you're like, I think I got it, but you're going so slow. Then you have to like accelerate, and I spin the wheel. Both of us, we blew out all the treads. They just went away and stacked.
My handlebars are bent like 4 different directions. Not bent, but the stuff. I was like fucking banging this little bars back in line all day today.
Mm.
Hey guys, guess what? It's probably no secret who our super secret special guest is now for anyone who's watching Zoom. It's Phil Waters. How you doing, Phil?
Hey, that guy owes me money.
Cleveland Moto.
What up, homie?
How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you, man?
Doing all right.
Hey, I wanted to start by saying, first of all, thank you guys immensely for the condolences you guys gave on last week's podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
really,
sir.
really means a lot to me.
Well, it's your mum, Philippe.
It's right, it is. And so, yeah, she was 76 years old. Her birthday was coming up just in a couple of weeks here. And I got to say, her last 3 or 4 years on this planet were really, really tough. So if you've got somebody who's having trouble with pain management,
Yeah.
you really got to look after that. It does ruin your quality of life. So
Are you suggesting, Philippe, that Knock may benefit from euthanasia?
I think you might. Yeah. In fact,
Not just
even
me,
though
but
he's
everybody
no
else,
longer-
apparently.
even though
I'll be
he's
right
no
there.
longer euthanasia. Yeah.
Hey Phil, by any chance, do you have any more lights in the room?
I
You
have.
look like
I
you
think
have no eyeballs,
No, he looks
There it is.
like he just came up from
right?
Hades.
It looks kind of
Look
creepy.
kind of like
Oh,
look
yeah.
like Hellboy's homie.
Yeah, much better. Thanks.
now we have a
Way better.
shadow behind me. I can do exotic
Oh, wow.
animal puppets.
I gotta get a cocktail. I'll be back.
The edibles are just kicking in right now.
Yeah, Phil, thanks for coming on. You've been poaching everyone from our show. I thought, well, I need to poach
It's
Phil.
a good idea. I think the poaching thing is really going to catch on. The idea of stealing people away from other people's shows is a great one. So.
But you actually don't know why you're here. Neither does Emma or anyone else, because I have a surprise for everyone. The first thing I'm going to say.
Oh, God, you're pregnant with Phil's baby.
Oh, we all know about his vasectomy. He's very public about it.
Yeah, it's a mail-in order kind of a situation, huh?
So-
Right.
The first thing I'm going to say is, if you don't already have in front of you, you should have a pad of paper and a pen. It's
Okay.
because we're about to
Pad of paper and
play
a
a game.
Give me a second. Let me go get a pad.
Yeah. So get that. So I've come up with a game, and it's been a while since we played a good game, and I did a lot of research. I don't know how it's going to go, but I know that anytime we play a game with Emma, she's so she knows so much. She's so skilled at everything motorcycles, and I
I
thought,
have no
You're
life,
going to make us
darling.
pick teams, huh? You're going to
No.
make us pick teams and be
No.
divisive.
no. But that's why I said I need to bring in a ringer, someone who can compete with Emma in this
Ooh, I don't know if I
trivia
can.
game.
Emma.
Oh, you
I thought-
can, darling.
Bill. And then I thought, and just to make it a little bit better, I'm going to make it 3 teams, and it's going to be the Misfits versus Phil versus Emma.
Oh yeah, we got a
Last
shot.
time,
Anyone can
me
score.
versus all you guys.
What
That's
kind of
not
fucked up
right.
Avengers episode is it?
Huh?
So what kind of fucked up Avengers episode is this?
Hey, man. So I'm going to tell you. So this is called the Name Game Challenge.
By the way, Jim, you know that
Yes, ma'am.
that's the noise that when I open my legs, that's exactly the noise.
And Wee Willie Winky comes running out. Wee Willie Winky runs through the town,
Bro,
No.
upstairs,
Bro,
downstairs in his nightgown.
All right, did you get it out of your system? Are you done yet?
No,
All right,
I'm happy now.
So I'll tell you how this game came to be, the Name Game Challenge. So Emma told me about a bike I've never heard of. It's a new thing to be obsessed with. It's called the Honda Raccoon. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm. No.
Bill, have you heard of the Honda Raccoon?
I have, in fact, heard of a Honda Ratcoon.
Raccoon.
It's a totally different bike.
Oh, it's a different bike.
If you haven't seen a Honda Raccoon,
I'm looking at one right now. It's kind of wild looking.
what's it
Hold
look
it
like?
up. Hold it up.
It looks like an MB5, but the gas tank is a little higher and
Yeah.
almost like a chopper. It's got a handlebars on it.
The best way to describe it, Nock, it is an MB5 that's been like adventure biked.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
I think we need one.
I think if an MB5 had an intimate relationship with a Super Tenere and then got thrown in the washing machine and shrunk down to quarter size, that's the Raccoon.
And the custom version
Yeah.
is called the Trash Panda.
Yes, exactly. Only available in black and white, darling.
All right, so here's a picture of that.
Yeah, it looks like a trials bike almost.
Yeah,
Huh.
right?
Yeah.
And what size is the engine?
50cc.
Wow.
Just a weird thing. How come we haven't seen that at AMA Vintage Days?
Because AMA Vintage Days is held in Ohio and not Osaka.
Ah, there it is.
Ah.
So
Go
the
to
Honda
the Osaka
Raccoon.
Vintage Days, they're everywhere.
So I thought, that's a weird bike. I wonder how many more bikes are named after animals.
Panda.
On this
Here we
Name
go.
Game Challenge, here's how it's
Is it the anal fiesta?
We're going to start with Emma, then we'll go to Phil, then we'll go to any of the Misfits. Raise your hand if you think you have an answer. All you have to do is name a make, a model, or a commonly used nickname that is an animal.
Okay.
That is an animal.
That is an animal.
Well, I'll start the ball rolling. It's a bike I've had a 42-year love affair with.
Mhm.
Of course.
The water buffalo.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
And it's the obvious one. And for those who've never heard the term, it's actually known as something else in Britain. It's known as the kettle in Britain. But the bike itself is the Suzuki GT 750.
There you go. The water buffalo. Good one. All right, Phil, we're coming to you.
I'd like to offer up a bike that was imported to the United States out of
Yeah.
Rockwell, Illinois,
Yeah?
the Mitsubishi Silver Pigeon.
Yes.
That is a 1963 scooter. It is on my list. Good one. I found a lot of really interesting bikes. All right, Misfits. Do one of you have one you want to offer up? Right, now?
Can it be like a nickname people give it, or an actual?
Yes.
business
Oh,
name?
yeah. I
Commonly
just
used
Water buffalo.
nickname. Commonly
Well, a
used.
Ducati. I mean, it's DUC Duck. Not, you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
DUC, not DUCK. That is a
Okay, well then a tiger, like a Triumph.
Triumph Tiger. Good one. That is on the
And-
list. Point for the Misfits. All
Hey,
right.
knock.
Yes.
I'll be your tiger.
Oh my God! Stop it!
All right. Emma.
Stop it! I
That's
just
a
put my
again.
pants on.
A very obvious one and a very loved bike too. The Honda Orc.
Honda
Ah,
Orc.
you stole mine.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
the stealer.
And I'm going to just say
Oh, I got one.
the Honda Hawk, the Honda Fight Hawk, and the Honda Super Hawk are now out.
Oh, you're going
All
to take
the
those
Honda-
out?
Anything
They're all
Orc
out.
derived.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Phil, what you got?
I think I'd like to go with the Triumph Tigress.
Oh yes.
There's a Tigress? Oh,
What?
It's a little scooter.
The scooter.
Ah, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
Good one. All right. Misfits. You guys got
I'm
one?
going to try one, because,
All right. Jim?
or I can wait because mine probably sucks,
Go
but
ahead.
I'm going to go with the Gold Wing because we're playing into
That is not an
Bird's
animal.
wing?
It
Does
is
that
a
work?
body part.
I got one. If Bagel
If
would have
you
one, I
steal
could
the
pick
side
one.
of the road, it's,
I've
No.
got
do I get
one.
half credit? Quarter
All right.
credit.
Hold on. Let's go to Bagel.
I got one. I have the Simson Schwalbe. Because a
What?
Schwalbe is a sparrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept it. All
Or sorry, a swallow.
I like that.
Okay.
right.
I'm just going
Emma,
to shut
what
up
you
for
got?
the rest of this game.
Okay, I will counter Bagel with the Das kleine Wunder Hummel, which
Ah.
is
The Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yep.
See,
Yes.
Phil, I knew you'd be the good one to know all these.
Oh my God.
Good one. That's a
All right.
really, really good one.
All right. Remember, there's still a lot of really easy ones to knock
Oh,
out, too. All
Right.
right, what you got, Phil?
I'm going to use the Honda Monkey.
Good one. That's
Yeah.
also on the list.
Right.
All right. Should we go to Jim now? Jim, you got one? No?
I think I
All right, knock.
Hayabusa.
Yep.
Oh,
Ah,
yes.
yeah. Good one.
The Hayabusa, Japanese hawk, is on the list. Good one. All right, Emma.
It's a peregrine falcon, excuse me.
And I will counter your Hayabusa with the Honda Blackbird.
That was the next one I had on the list.
That's also on the
I'm the
list. Good.
stealer, Knock. I'm the stealer of your heart, darling.
This is true.
Now, I have a question. Does it have to be an actual bike, or could it be a name associated with bikes?
Well, if she used Water Buffalo,
Yeah,
And
which is a
commonly
nickname
used-
for an actual bike.
What?
Oh, it's not your turn, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's
I think-
Phil's turn.
my turn.
Right.
Yes.
I'm going to use Wolf, and for Wolf we can use a bunch of different manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll throw in SYM Wolf to give
Yes,
the most
symbol.
most
Yeah.
recent
Good one. Good one.
Right.
All right. Misfits. You got one now, Bagel?
Well, I was going to say Screaming Eagle. Would that
Okay.
count?
I actually did have that, even though it's not an actual bike, but people refer to their Screaming Eagle Harley, so I will accept it.
All right. Cool.
Me too. Well done, Bagel.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right, Emma, what you got?
I have a Rickman Métis. And a Métis is a French term for a mongrel, a dog.
A little dog.
Yes.
Okay.
that is true.
Métis.
Good job. All right, Phil.
I would like to submit the Badger.
Badger. I don't know the badger.
Is there an
Badger.
Urban Dictionary definition for the badger?
The Badger.
It's a prison thing.
Exactly.
It's a prison thing. You don't want to know.
Rawr.
Suzuki, I believe it was Suzuki made the Badger. It was a small.
Suzuki did indeed make the
ATV.
Badger.
Yeah, a little
Wow.
adorable, by the way.
Oh,
And
God. Yeah.
I'd like to point out, I did
Front end looks like a monster truck.
I did a lot of research on the internet to find as many names as I could. You guys have already named so many things that never came up on my list.
Wow.
All right, Misfits. Yes, knock.
Scarabeo, which is scarab.
It's a beetle.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Okay. All right. All right, Emma.
Hodaka Wombat.
Ah, yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice one.
shit, that's the good one.
Exactly.
Is it
So
just-
Wombat is taken out. Okay, Phil.
I'm not going to just obviously say the combat wombat.
No, can't do that.
Can't-
Anything wombat related.
Wombat's out.
All the wombats are out.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're going to do a Vespa Ape, which is
Ooh.
Ah, yes.
like a
Yes.
hummel. It's a bee.
Yeah.
I actually saw one this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
We have
Nice.
one in our showroom.
I'm not going to say where it is, but it might be where I was. All
Mhm.
right, good one. All right, Misfits. Who's got one?
I got one.
Yes, Bagel.
Boss Hoss.
What animal is that?
It's a
Horse.
colloquialism for a horsey.
Horse. Yeah,
Hoss is a horse.
Emma and Phil, do you accept?
I accept that.
I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
You're already up.
Good, Bagel.
All right,
I think that
Emma,
is a yes.
your turn.
We're going to revisit Hodakas.
Yeah.
And let's do a super rat.
Yes.
Nice.
Let's see. Do you think Phil will round out the Hodakas?
Maybe.
Well, I could just I
Well, that's
could
a hint.
go backwards and do the rat,
Yes.
but we could also do a mongoose.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
yeah.
We can do a mongoose.
Okay.
So I'd like a mongoose.
All right, Misfits.
Didn't
Madass?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go for it.
A mad ass
What?
Yeah.
donkey,
Lame.
technically,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of like lawyering it a little
Yes,
bit.
ass totally is a donkey.
Yep.
Emma
As
and
an
Phil,
animal.
do you accept?
I'm
going
not
to
getting
let that
involved.
slide.
Yes, that's a
All
yes.
right. All right. So, and here's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep going until, if you can't get one, you're eliminated.
Okay.
We'll keep
Ooh.
going until the last one is left. All right, Emma.
Let's round out Hodakas. Let's do the road toad.
Yes.
Stole
Jim,
my
I
other
thought
one.
you'd get one of those.
Mhm.
Is it our turn?
I'll tell you when it's your
Not
turn,
yet.
son. All right.
Because I'm ready.
You know when it's your turn.
Okay. Phil,
Uh,
what you got?
Let's go with the I want to do something. Going for the more exotic if we can.
Okay.
I think I'd like to go with the Pinto.
The Pinto. Who makes
The Pinto. So the Pinto was a small moped.
Oh.
And it was a little moped, and it had little circles on the side of the gas tank. And I believe they were imported into the United States, not by maybe J.C. Penney. Like the J.C. Penney Pinto.
See,
But yeah,
I love that. I love that you guys.
Yeah.
I love that you guys know all these crazy ones. All right, good. All right, Jim.
Cute, man. This is a cool little bike.
Jim, it's your
found a
turn.
picture of the
Talking to
Pinto?
me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Indian
Yeah,
Dark
Pinto's
Horse.
cool.
What?
Indian Dark Horse.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's a model. I'll take that. All right, Emma.
BSA
Yes.
Beaver.
What? What?
Look it up. BSA
Oh
Beaver.
my god. All right. Have you heard of that one,
That's
Phil?
really good.
Wow.
That's a good
I
one.
haven't seen a beaver in a long time.
Oh, darling,
You'll see a
I'm
British.
so
Well, if you
sorry.
want to see if you want to see
There
a
it
British
is.
one,
I
Phil,
don't believe
just
you,
hang out
Phil.
after the
And
podcast,
actually,
and we'll show you
it's.
one.
I guarantee, Liza, it's a little
Wow.
bit younger than you expected, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a nice little, cute little bike.
There it is, BSA Beaver.
Good one. All right, Phil, your turn.
I think we'll go with. I was going to try to keep it in the same family of bikes, but we'll go with a Mosquito, an MZ Mosquito.
Ah, yeah.
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 Good one.
Good one. All right, Misfits. Who's got one?
I got one.
Go ahead.
The
Bagel.
plastic maggot.
Hey, I'm okay with
Hold
that.
on, is
It's
that
a
just
nickname.
Emma who calls it that?
Yeah, but it's
No,
a
that's just Emma.
no.
I thought it was- That's all Britain.
Yeah,
the
no.
CX500
Okay, then-
is known as the plastic maggot in Britain.
Right.
I have heard you reference it that way, as
Yes.
a matter of fact.
No, it's not
just
I
me.
second the motion. That's
And
legit.
I would like to say on record that I actually very much admire the CX500. Back in the early 80s, just thousands of dispatch riders rode them. They're very durable bikes. Okay,
All right, here we go.
I will counter the MZ with the MZ Scorpion. The
Scorpion.
MZ Scorpion.
Ooh.
Nice one.
Nice.
All right, Phil.
I'll take an easy one. We'll do the Piaggio Vespa.
Oh, I was going to say that one day.
Bagel. That was like a kick in the nuts.
Good one. All right, knock.
So this is a fucked up weird one because in California it is considered a motorcycle, and this creature is also extinct. It's a T-Rex. It's a Campagna T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a quad?
It's a
The
three-wheeler.
trike.
Try. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Emma.
Triumph Terrier.
That's right. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Triumphs that haven't.
I
come
love
up
this.
yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Phil.
I'd like to submit the Flying Squirrel.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's a
yes.
good one.
God.
All right,
Yeah,
Misfits.
fine.
Jim, you got anything?
Well, if no one else does, I do.
All right, do it.
Is this do or die time for the Misfits?
Do it. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
The Honda, is it the PCT? Shamu, as it was known.
No.
Dude, if you can use Water Buffalo,
No.
you can use Shamu.
No, you cannot.
Emma,
That was
Emma?
her white
I'm
bike.
not getting involved.
No.
that's
But-
a yes.
But you know what I'm
that's
gonna say?
well, that's a nickname for a specific bike,
Yeah,
that's
though,
a no.
not
That's a
a
no.
line of
Yeah.
bike.
But dude,
I'm just trying to keep us in the game.
There are so many different Hondas left.
I'm just trying to keep us in. That's why I asked if nobody else had anything.
Well, I've got one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
The Bajaj Chetak,
Chetak.
because Chetak is a horse.
A very particular horse.
Oh yeah.
A famous horse.
Emma.
I'm going to go, and if I get booted out, so be it, because I'm on thin ice now. I'm going to include people animals, and I'm going to go with Bultaco Matador. Matadore. Can't do people animals.
No.
Oh,
Emma,
God.
Don't give up. There's so
Don't
many
give up.
more.
There's so many
so many
Oh,
more
God, yeah,
Hondas.
I know, but I'm on the spot, darling. My mind's a blank. I've been on the gin. Yeah, I know. There's tons of Hondas. I've just got to remember what they are.
Oh, come on. You got 5 seconds. You can't go out like this.
Go out like this.
3,
Yeah, I want to say trash
2,
panda.
1.
Move me out, darling.
Oh, Emma's out. What?
What?
Aw.
What?
Knock
All
him
right.
out the box, Luke.
It's now Phil and the Misfits, and the Misfits you will no longer get to guess again if one of you is wrong. So,
All right.
Phil.
I'm going to submit the Italjet Kit Kat.
Oh,
Okay.
good one.
The Italjet
Aw.
Kit
Who's that
Kat,
one?
a folding mini bike.
All right.
Really fun little mini bike, and it folds up. The handlebars fold down, and it's called a Kit Kat. And they made them for like 20 years, and I've been looking for them for a very long time.
I accept that.
Yep.
All right. Knock, you got something?
The Honda Eagle.
That isn't on my list. Is there really?
Fuck,
a
I was
Honda
just
Eagle?
gonna take a guess. I figured they make a lot of bikes and there's a lot of animals, so there's probably some kind of cross pollination. But I fucked up clearly.
You really? You're going out with a Honda Eagle?
It's
think that
reasonable
just
that
happened.
Honda would have made an eagle.
Well, then I guess I have to name Phil the winner of the name.
And deservedly so.
Can I give you guys one more that I just
Yes,
thought?
let's go out with a winner.
Because it's awful. And like we say, the more aggressive the name name of the animal involved, the worse the fucking bike is. And it's called an Ice Bear Black Widow.
Oh,
So it's
What?
an Ice Bear and it's
Ice
a
bear.
Black Widow. So the most dangerous land animal and the most dangerous spider put together in one vehicle, Google that shit. The Ice Bear Black Widow. And if that's not where dreams go to die, I don't know what is.
wow.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I had one more on my list, which is the genuine black cat.
Black cat, yes.
Yep.
I do love black cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to hear all the ones that didn't get named that I had on?
Oh, God, yeah,
Sure.
please.
All right. Arctic Cat motorcycles, Beeline scooters, Big Bear choppers, Big Dog choppers,
Of course.
BSA. Emma? BSA, come on. You got it? BSA.
Oh, God, let me think. Lightning Thunderbolt, Royal Star, Rocket
Star,
3,
Rocket.
BSA, Brigand, BSA.
Bantam.
Bantam.
Good
Bantam?
Bantam.
What's a
Most
bantam?
common BSA.
A chicken.
It's a little fighting cock.
Chicken.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh.
BSA Bantam, BSA Firebird, Kagiva Elephant,
I love
Ah,
Bantam.
shit, that was an obvious one. Yeah.
Cheetah Motorcycles, Coventry Eagle, there was an eagle,
Yes.
Oh.
Curtis Hellcat, Ducati Bronco, I've never heard of that, Genuine Scooter Rattler,
The Rattler.
Oh, yeah.
is it Galera?
Gilera.
Cougar, there was, Knock, what bike do you have in your garage?
Oh, which one?
The one that has a nickname that goes by BRP.
Oh, the Big Red Pig.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't
Let's see,
want to
we-
pick that one. Yeah, but that was like a colloquialism. Wasn't an official name, right?
Right, but it's for that whole line of bikes.
There's
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
the Honda Black Widow, which is a version of a Shadow. Another MB5 model, the Honda Bobcat. Honda Bulldog. You guys, most common bike in the world.
The Cub.
No one
The
said
Super
that.
Cub.
Super
Honda
Cub.
Of
Atlas.
course.
Oh, of course.
Right, no one said that. Let's see, we did the Honda Hornet.
Yep.
Shit.
The Honda NX4 Falcon.
I always thought they were Honda Horny.
The Janus Phoenix.
Mm.
Oh, here's one I never
There
heard
you
of.
go.
Kawasaki Coyote. And Life Fan makes a chimp. And here's one I love. The Life Fan Goldfish.
Huh.
The
The goldfish?
Malaguti, the Malaguti Grizzly, Malaguti Spider Max, Moto Guzzi.
Wait. What is a Spider Max?
I think
Spider Max.
It's probably an awful Malaguti scooter that was
It's a-
probably.
It's a spider to the max, man.
It probably had at least 16 fake air intake vents.
All right, Emma, finish this.
Shoot web out of its exhaust.
Emma Norton.
I'm trying to think of all my Nortons. Navigator Atlas, Commando, Combat. Norton.
Steel?
What?
Do you know Norton Manx?
Manx, yeah, Manx.
Yep. And
let's see.
Meow.
All right, Royal Enfield Thunderbird, the Sax B, the Sax Eagle. There's a Suzuki Birdie.
Birdie?
Yeah, Triumph Thunderbird, and then my new favorite bike of all time, the Honda Unicorn.
The unicorn. Now,
Very rare.
well, actually, there's one more too that we had mentioned on a recent show. The Munch Mammut.
The Mammoth, yeah, exactly. And who did the Gorilla? Because I know there was a Gorilla bike, but I just can't remember whether it was an actual Honda or was it one of the Chinese companies.
I think it might have been a knockoff.
A knockoff of the Monkey.
Of the Honda, yeah.
Yeah. I think
It's amazing. It all comes back to you, you see. No, you see, the thing is, Liza, I cave under pressure, darling.
I know.
But I think everybody did extremely well.
Well, congratulations, Phil. You won that game. I knew I had a ringer.
Thank you, Rick.
In the match.
I would also like to call attention to that today is, in fact, my 51st birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
My dude. Thank you, Rich. The other one that you saw on the Facebook is my internet birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's to fool all the bots and whatnot. But yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, today was my 51st birthday.
Well, what a fantastic
Well
birthday
done.
present.
It's a great birthday present. Fantastic. Yeah.
The 50s are great. I mean, I'm right there with you, and it's best life ever right now, dude. So
I know.
yeah,
Right.
fuck, I love you, man.
Hey, I can fall over and not get hurt. I'm still doing good.
You fall over like a telephone pole, and you announce it. I'm going over. All right, here I go. And sure enough, there you do.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, pretty much. So Phil, while we have you here, let's catch up. How are things with your business during this whole Rona times?
It's really strange. So I'll give you guys the real quickie, but what happened that was so weird was for about 30 days or so, we were doubling last year's numbers.
Yeah.
Because social distancing was all you could fucking do, right? And what's happened is that has really tapered off now. And I believe the reality's starting to set in for a lot of people. They're like, well, you know what? A month ago, people were like, well, we can't go on our vacation, so we might as well buy some Vespas, you know? We can't do anything normal, so we might as well social distance on the back of a motorcycle. So it is different. It's definitely a different thing. But that has started to chill out a little bit. And it was madness. It was an orgy there for a while. And a lot of manufacturers couldn't get the bikes to the people fast enough. And, you know,
I enjoy your stories you share on your podcast, Cleveland Moto, about some of the people who come in who are just unaware of like space and social distancing and stuff like that. And I like, you're having none of it. None of it.
No. It's a...
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Phil, I'll tell you what's happened with us over at Seaside Superbikes. Yes, for all your superbike needs, that's
Cha-ching.
Seaside Superbikes. We were going gangbusters because we're really a repair-only facility, and we sell a few select used bikes, but we were going gangbusters. What's caught up with us right now, we can't get parts.
Right. Exactly.
All the parts suppliers have dried up. And the last 3 or 4 days at work, I mean, I've been sitting twiddling my thumbs, not through lack of work. We're waiting for parts. And some of the most mundane stuff as well. So that's how it's caught up with us. But we were double last year's numbers right up until this point.
And we've had the same thing. Even the largest parts distributor, Parts Unlimited is only shipping 1 day a week. So
What?
Oh shit!
Whoa.
That's wild.
So
Yeah,
when
and
you when you look
Yeah,
at
it's same with us with Tucker-Rocky.
Yep,
Tucker-Rocky's 1 day a week with us, and WPS, I don't know whether, so that, you know, it's like, and everyone is saying the same thing. We're overwhelmed. We haven't got enough people.
Right.
We're just overwhelmed with this.
Yeah, that's what we have too. And the service is there because people are trying to bring the old bike out of the garage that hasn't run into
Right.
And that's what we're getting hit with a lot And it is not at all hilarious to sit back and go, okay, well, I've got 26 bikes in my service department that are all waiting on parts. And most of these bikes, the parts they're waiting are not really parts that are normally hard to get.
No.
And
We've probably
So
got
are you talking like brake pads, oil filters, or spark plugs, or like
fuel pumps. You know, I've got
Okay.
a couple of bikes that are down right now because of the fuel pumps, and the only fuel pumps that work in these bikes, short of cannibalizing something else and building your own, are fuel pumps that come out of countries that got hit hard by Corona, and they're not building those pumps, and they're not shipping them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's a
Yeah, it
bummer.
seems like anything with electronics is having issues. I was trying to build a computer as somewhat related. Like, you just can't get computer parts, or they're not building them because their manufacturing section for electronics is ramped down.
that's-
You know,
That's the issue. They're not manufacturing. It's a manufacturing issue, huh? Not a supply chain.
maybe.
necessarily.
for
Yeah.
some things, yeah, for some things for sure.
Well, it's both, really. I mean,
Yeah.
everything's affected.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, supply.
But you have been selling some small bikes, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've been doing really well with the smaller, the Piaggio Liberty, which is a upstanding unit. That's been crushing it. It's been doing really well because it's a very affordable version of a Vespa type experience. And it is good. It's an ABS and it's fuel injected and it has all the cool stuff and the taller wheels. But it's funny is like all those little Chinese bikes, like the little SSRs, the mini bikes and the play bikes and all that shit that, you know, 3 months ago, I was sitting on my podcast and we were like, look at these fucking things. They are growing roots around here. I can't sell them. And then one day we sold 6 or 7 of them. And then we found out that we couldn't order any more because they were back ordered, you know, intergalactic back order. And that was a weird thing. And we're just now getting some of this. The TNT 135s, we've sold, I think, 8 of them. And we're trying to get more, but we can't.
Is that a Benelli or SSR?
That's the Benelli.
It's
Yeah,
Benelli. You had me looking at one. I'm like,
yeah, they're
Maybe I
pretty
need
damn
one.
good for their price. Yeah, for their price point, they're much more interesting than a Honda Grom. And they're fun. We've all been playing around with them. But the thing is, though, all the ones I kind of set aside for myself, I've had to sell those. So we don't even have one at the shop anymore. So Sleepy was able to get one. He's done a lot of fun performance mods to his. It's a fun little bike. Yeah.
So, do you guys see any end to this? Is there any predictions of when you guys are going to be able to get stuff to sell and if it's it?
I think there's more likely to be a phase 2 of this. I don't think this is a up and down. I think this is a up with a rest stop and still going up.
Yeah, I tend to agree with
Wow.
you. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be optimistic about it because we are getting parts. It's just it's taking its sweet time. And unfortunately, certainly within the motorcycle trade, so much of our business, either directly or indirectly, is via China.
Yes.
And
Yep.
China's really having trouble getting stuff out. You know, the pressure's on you far more than me because I'm a humble employee, Phil, but it's your business. But I'm thinking 2020 is going to be, it's going to be pretty much a washout completely for me as far as making money goes.
It's been a very strange thing to watch the customers come in because it's hard to break old habits. And so customers come in the shop and they're like, okay, I've got my negotiating hat on and I'm fully prepared to make sure that I don't pay anywhere near retail. And it's funny as hell to watch people just get their ass handed to them when they're like, well, I'll give you $6,300 for that. I'm like, well, the price is $69.99, and if you won't give it to me, the next guy will. We are
because
not
we can't. And why should I give it away to you?
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't know when I'm going to get my next one. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. The supply and demand thing right now is completely opposite the way it was last year. And so last year people could negotiate like crazy. And this year we're sitting there going, no joke. We got a letter from Vespa, and the letter from Vespa said they're not going to be shipping us any bikes in June.
Oh shit!
That's 0. That's none. That's no bikes. So they know full well they've emptied out their Texas warehouse. So they've made it very clear to their dealers that we're not going to be able to fulfill a June order. And we looked at the sheet and we're like, okay, well, what do you have? I'll take all those. You know, whatever you have, we'll just take those, because we know that we're not going to get anything in June. So that's a thing. And some companies have done that to us before, where they're like, oh, if you want to get 6 of these, you better order 12. And so we order 12 and then 12 come in. And we're like, oh shit, now what do we do? But I think in this case, it's real. I don't think this one's a oopsie, because Italy did take this one on the chin. So I would not be surprised to find out that there is this manufacturing lag that we're just getting right now. You know, we're not going to see these bikes. But the problem is, it would be okay for us to not have bikes in February. It'd be fine for us to not have bikes in December. But not having bikes in June, that could put people out of the game.
So do you guys, do you think that there's going to be, in 2020, dealerships closing up? Like, do you think this is going to be another nail?
And here's the one thing we didn't talk about yet. I've got 5 of my friends who own dealerships that were hit by riots.
Right.
Okay. And you can't budget for that. You can't plan for that. There's no business model for either every window in the place was broken out and 100% of our inventory was stolen, like the guys in New York, or guys like my friend Bob in Minneapolis, they lost windows, they boarded up, they took 100% of their inventory and moved their entire shop, every bit of their inventory, into storage because they're in Minneapolis.
You know, we had riots here too, but vegans with surfboards don't do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, but do they have insurance though that will cover those losses?
You do. And the weird thing is, we had to look at our insurance policy to see if our insurance policy covered riots. And guess what? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so shitty.
Yeah.
Even if it does, Bagel, you can have all the money in the world right now,
Can't buy
but
bikes.
you can't get stock.
Right.
So if your stock is gone, you could write a check for $1 billion, trillion, kajillion dollars.
Right.
And you're not going to get stock because there's no stock to be had.
Yeah, and you might not even be able to, repair the building, because of everything else that's going on too.
Right.
So yeah.
Bill, I know that you've been buying bikes at auction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is this going to be affecting that?
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. So the auctions now, there's no more human element to the auction. We can't go to the auction and participate the way we used to. Participating in the auction in person, you have a totally different effect. You can make eye contact with the auctioneer, and you can get a certain advantage over the guys who are just pushing button at their office and just clicking the green button over and over again. Well, what's happened is, because there is this sort of panic over buying bikes, we're seeing the bikes that 3 months ago were going for insanely low prices because dealers were trying to get rid of stock, and they were using the auction system to get rid of their overstock bikes. Well, those dealers now, they can't get enough of the new bikes, are keeping their bikes they would normally release to the auction. So one of the auctions I participated in, where they would normally have an auction and there'd be 3,000 bikes. Well, now there might be 400.
Wow.
And the price on those bikes is going higher.
Yeah, that's thinking. If you can't get new stock, you're going to buy used stock.
Yep, you got it.
And
I'm sitting there and I'm watching the screen and I'm looking at these bikes going, and I'm like, bid, okay, bid, all right, bid, what the shit? That's retail, and people are still bidding.
Wow.
And that's bad when you see a 2-year-old unit being bid up to beyond what the dealer's normal cost would be to put that bike on his floor. That's weird. That's weird.
And I've also been noticing an interesting trend on Copart that even wrecked Vespas are going up in price too.
They are. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Used Vespa right now is the most desirable bike in my showroom. And everybody comes in the shop and does the same thing. They look to the left and they see a $6,000 Vespa, and they immediately start looking to the right to find the used one. And if you have $1,000 less than that, if you have a $5,000 3-year-old Vespa, 4-year-old Vespa, you're going to sell it, and you're going to sell it fast. So
I didn't realize the problem was that big. It seems like the dealers can't get bikes to sell, and the ones that they can get are going to be overpriced. And that if you're relying on service to make your money, that you can't get the parts.
The cool thing, though, is all the manufacturers, every manufacturer I work with is offering like 0%, 1.9% crazy good financing. So this is the time to take advantage. There's a lot of programs even Vespa, who's notoriously tight with their wallet, they're doing a $500 first responder, doctor, discount. So if you can prove that you're a first responder or a medical personnel, you're going to get $500 off.
Yeah, and that's taking advantage of all of the low interest money that's being lent right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And try to simulate the sales.
Yep.
Well, that sucks. Well, and Phil, if you hadn't heard, I recently bought a bike.
Yes. Yeah.
And here it is. It arrived.
Yamaha. Yeah.
It's a Kawasaki KZ400. Emma, did you take a peek? 400.
I did.
Did you take a peek? What do you think?
I did. It's fantastic, Liza. I mean, what you've basically got, you've got a rare bike because that is the stripper model.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no electric start. It's kickstart only. There's no hydraulic disc brake. It's drum brake only. It's a delightful little bike. The only thing I would add that you probably don't realize it needs the intake rubbers behind the carburetors.
I ordered them.
But it needs the ones in front too.
Oh, those are too old?
They're toast.
Yeah.
Are they tough to get? I mean, or the front ones?
No, I think you should be able to find them. I'd have to do a little bit of measuring. I don't like tinkering around with people's bikes when they aren't there, but I think you should be able to just buy some Mikuni inlet stubs from, like Sudco.
Right.
And just screw them on.
So I didn't tell you this, but something happened to the bike this week.
Oh?
Yeah. So I got it, and I immediately parked it in the tent. You'd think the tent is a nice place where it's going to be, keep it out of the rain and the weather. Well, some birds came and perched in the tent.
Oh no!
Now it's a shitty bike.
And I came out to find it completely covered in bird shit.
Oh man!
Which is why, if you notice, Emma, there's a cover over it right now.
And I replaced the cover.
I thought someone was playing a prank on me. I'm like, what?
You need to stop feeding one of those cats. You've got to stop feeding some of those cats and put them to work in that shed.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. And the things that I saw on this bike, the kind of details, like when you still see the little bands holding the cables onto the handlebars, it tells me that's stock handlebars. And when it still has the little reflectors on the side, like nobody pulled things off. And even better, the bars, the mirrors, everything, there's no scratches. This 45-year-old bike has never been on its side.
Wow.
Not a scratch.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get the motor to turn? Did you take a wrench to the crank and spin it around?
Kickstarter.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Emma and I are going to get into it, but not on the podcast. We're going to be getting into it on our new YouTube show. Phil, have you checked out the Misfits?
I have, and I totally approve of the shocker. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
The shocker episode is great. You guys really, really did a good job. And the Where Did My Oil Go is also fantastic. I mean, it's a really, really good video. Those are excellent and a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, we're just starting out, and neither Liza or myself are massively comfortable in front of the camera, but we're going to get better with it.
Exactly. I'm comfortable. I just got nothing to say. She's there.
But we're going to get down and dirty because I've built some show-winning bikes, and I'm going to share the wealth of how to take, in effect, a barn find like that KZ and actually get some trophies at your local bike show without spending a massive amount.
Yeah, and also, I don't know the answer, but the question I asked her, which she's going to give me on our next episode, is when is a bike worth just fixing up to be a rider or fixing up to be a show bike?
Yeah.
What do you look for?
Well, and here's the
what does it take
answer.
to do that?
Here's the answer to that right now, because I'm going through this decision right now. So I think I told everyone last week I bought myself another Trident.
You got
Now,
one.
my last Trident tried to kill me. This one's going to be different. It's going to be different this time. But I bought myself a factory purple 71 Trident. Now, this is a nice bike. And I can spend $1,000 on stuff it needs, ride it down to the Misfits, and everyone will go, oh, that is a nice bike. But there won't be one single bit of perfect chrome on it. It'll need this, it'll need this, it'll need this. So the decision I'm making now is, do I spend $1,000 and just build it and ride it? And that's a very, very nice Trident. Or do I spend $3,000?
$5,000.
Yeah.
But get it to where I like my bikes to be.
Yeah.
And I really don't know. Because, I ride all my bikes. My RF is immaculate and stock. And as Liza will tell you, I ride the crap out of it. My Guzzi is custom and immaculate, and I ride the crap out of that too. So it's never going to be a trailer queen. It's going to get ridden. But I really don't have the answers to where to stop with it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
That's the thing that I think having somebody like Emma with that trained eye and that detail, that level of detail that most of us don't notice. We look at an old bike and go, wow, look at the shiny chrome on the exhaust, and that's a nice bike. But she's probably looking at like the clamps on the carb boots and, like little tiny details.
Yeah, like those bolts on there, they're not supposed to be chrome. Those are meant to be zinc.
Right.
And points off.
Well, I like bikes, and it includes when you customize a bike, because I don't mind customizing bikes. I'm not the complete purist. I think if you've got an old 750 Honda, the worst thing you can do is paint it black. That's the worst thing you can do, because it just becomes another black old bike.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to paint it, you paint it in stock colors with stock graphics. And there's no excuse these days, because you can get the graphics for any bike. But I like customizing bikes, but if I use the notion that in Liza, the example of Liza's KZ, if I was to get in a time machine, go back to 1975 and go into a Kawasaki dealer, what would I see? What would I see in the new bikes? What would I see in the year-old bikes? So that's what I kind of use.
Jim had a good question, and Jim, we might as well just bring that question up that you asked me on the way home about.
Remind me about
on the bearings.
Oh, the whole bearings thing. So it's interesting. Like one way to approach it is, because I got the ascot apart, not together, but apart. But like, say the bearings. Do you go with the stock, original bearings, which is the race, the little bearings and grease?
Talking about the stem bearings.
Yeah.
Or do you go, order all balls, tapered bearings, and slap them in? What's the difference when you build a bike? No one's really going to see it. So
Yeah,
what's
that's
the
what I want
difference
to know.
between a restoration? Is that custom? Like, where do you draw the line on that?
Yeah,
Well,
so Phil and Emma.
Phil, do you want to take this, or would you like me to?
So in any racing organization, no matter, for the guys who are trying to preserve classic motorcycles,
Yeah.
preserve motorcycles that have real important provenance. It was ridden by this guy in this race in this time. And when you look at ARMA or you look at WERA and any of those things, they all make concessions for safety. So no matter how the bike is, it's got the original gas tank, it's got the original fenders, it's got the original rear sets, all these things that were done in 1965 to make it into a kick-ass race bike.
Mm-hmm.
But you bet your ass it's going to have updated fuel line, it's going to have an updated petcock, it's going to have updated bearings in the wheels, and it's going to have things that are allowed on the bike to make it safer for the person operating it, because you don't have to suffer a death trap for a bike that's going to go perhaps on a track. Now, for a bike that's just going to be wall art, then yeah, you might build that bike to be like, check it out. I've got the actual original, leather grip,
Everything.
or I've gone out and cultured the exact type of cow that was alive back then to make the rawhide to make the fucking seat on the damn thing.
That sounds like something Emma would do.
But
yeah.
So here's an example in real terms. The Trident that tried to kill me
Yeah.
was that bike. Every single nut and bolt on that Triumph was the one it left the factory in 1969 with. Every single one. And so that's that kind of bike. Jim's bike, any concession you can make to make it safer, of course it's the way to go. I mean, people have forgotten, as an example, how bad the original tires were on these things. The very first thing, back in the 70s, you would buy a brand new 750 Honda or a brand new Water Buffalo and literally take the tires off in the showroom and put on decent tires because they were that bad. Now, would you want to duplicate that now? Of course you wouldn't.
And you think about even electricals. If you look at any electricals from the 60s, the electricals in the 60s were awful. They didn't have any sort of material. They didn't have any wire sheathing that could stand up to 10 years of ozone. And the batteries were garbage. The batteries were hard plastic shells that would routinely crack. And then it would dump acid everywhere on the side of your motorcycle.
Right.
That stuff, that should all go away.
See, I told Jim I'm somewhat of a purist in that if it's a bike that I'm modifying, like my triple, the Street Tracker, I mean, it's got an R1 front end, but I'm going to put modern components on it. But if it's something like this, if I'm doing this, or when I did my 72 CB 750 Cafe Racer, and even though I cafe'd it, it was all vintage parts I cafe'd it with. I'm not putting in tapered bearings. I stay with the ball bearings. That's what it came with. I'm kind of a purist that way.
Well, no, hang on. So let's go back to the Trident.
Mm-hmm.
So that Trident, if you remember, had quite spectacular mufflers on it. It had the ray guns on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember picking it up out of the middle of the street.
yes, exactly. The ray guns got mangled. But the point is, if I was to put one of the original Lucas batteries in it and it spewed acid all over the ray gun mufflers and destroyed them, surely that would be a worse choice than putting a Yuasa MF battery in it.
No, batteries, I agree. I mean,
There you go.
batteries,
Where do you draw the line?
Well, we were talking about the bearings specifically.
That's a consumable,
taper,
though, right? Like, wait, hold
Yeah.
on.
Everything's
It's a wear item.
consumable on a bike. Everything's
So I have
consumable.
I have a question.
Emma will tell you,
So-
when you get into judging, I have been in many, many judging situations where they lift that battery cover and you'd better have a fucking clear plastic battery there with a yellow top and red frickin' plastic caps in it.
Right.
And there are companies that have gone to a lot of trouble manufacturing replica batteries
Right.
for this industry because, you can chase your tail all over the place building a perfect restoration.
Right.
And when you say the word concourse, everything changes.
Oh, it's a concourse is a different world. And
Totally.
I have actually placed a couple of times in concourses, but never with a rider. Never.
Jim,
And I
So I'm
don't
kinda
think
curious.
I don't think a rider could win a concourse.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Em, if you took your Trident and you weren't going to make it perfectly stock, and you were going to say change kind of a bunch of stuff on it so it still looked like it, but you changed, like, what kind of things would you consider changing?
Okay, well that's quite easy. Electronic ignition, modernize the charging system, modernize the carburation. Although AMALs are actually great carburetors, they flow a good amount of fuel. There are improvements you can make. So I'd put decent internals in the forks. I'd put decent shocks on the back, and I'd probably get the size of the tires up just enough that you could put a slightly more modern tire on it. And you'd be able to tell. You would be able to tell I'd messed with it.
And that
but
Triumph
it
that
would be
you've got,
subtle.
The Triumph you've got, it's got the tall back tire, and your tire choices suck.
Exactly.
If you change
So
that
something as simple as going down from a 19-inch rear wheel to an 18-inch.
Yeah.
Now you've got the big choice.
Every tire in the world now. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's a great upgrade for Tridents, for Rocket 3s, for Norton Commandos. And besides, those tall rear tires look goofy as fuck. I don't care.
Every Honda CD750 in the world had a Sportster back rim on it.
Right.
You know?
So in the world of like high-end judging competition with like resto bikes, do they take into account the culture of what you guys did back then too? Like, let's say
no.
Back then, no, just like the way it looks from the factory.
You can lose a concourse with a cable tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
It gets down to that.
So they want actual historical accuracy, just in terms of how it left the factory, not like, oh, these guys back then did this, so it's a legit mod that you could have on the bike. Like, and
I built a Bultaco Matador for the Jameson Museum, and it lost a concourse because the Akron decals on the rim were yellow and they should have been lime.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're talking about a decal that's a quarter of an inch across.
It's a good thing there's no hungry people in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jim, did
Yeah.
you get your question in? You forgot it.
What?
My question? What are you talking about?
No, Jim, you had been raising your hand. Did you get your question in?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally got my
Yeah.
question.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I just couldn't understand because Knox talking with his mouth full.
No.
Is it salami?
Yeah. Columbus
Yeah.
number
It's true.
11.
There you go.
No, my attitude on bikes has kind of changed over the years. I mean, I like nice bikes. I've never made a secret of that. And I like building very, very high quality bikes. But I think, at risk of offending a lot of people, I think
The
concourse...
rich assholes, isn't it? It's always the rich assholes around him.
Right. Concourse competitions, it's a mugs game. It's not where I want to be in motorcycling. I'm not even really sure if it's valid anymore because it is so far removed from the reality of what these things are. They're motorbikes that you should run them.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Emma, your Norton Commando that's at Jameson's Museum, where you
that would
the
fail
fasteners.
every concourse competition you'd put
I
in.
know that, but so what would you enter that in? What would, because it's like, it would just be like a custom, or how would you enter that bike in the show?
I think that would, if there was a resto mod.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys, there's a lot of other things like the Quail. There are tons of events that have kind of taken a step away from concourse restorations, and they've decided to make it more fun. And the idea being that the motorcycle gets ridden around. And there's a few clubs now that are doing things where in order to enter the bike has to ride around like the courthouse yard or has to ride around the town square or something. And the idea
Like
is
the dirt bag.
In order to enter it at all to be judged, it has to first complete a small ride,
Right.
Well, and that was part of my goal of buying this bike. I wanted to just show, hey, you can still get very affordable, vintage bikes. And I chose the KZ. I talked about why my personal history with the KZ. And I did mention that, right? Did I talk about that?
Yeah. How many miles are on the one that you got?
12, I think.
12.
Yeah. But let's take that KZ as an example, and I don't want to share too many secrets because it's going to be for the video.
Yes.
However, so Liza now owns a nice barn find KZ.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to spend $1,500 on it, you could hold your head high at any classic motorcycle meet.
In a category.
Wait, is that with the sissy bar on?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, what can I tell you?
That's right.
That's horrible.
$1,500 would get you a little bit of chroming, a standard paint job, maybe a couple of OEM mufflers, and just sufficient cleanup that people will be, oh, that is a nice bike.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing because that bike is one of those ones. It is not the performance model, as Emma was saying. It's the stripper. It's the ugly duckling. It's
right.
It's the way you're probably going to find a bike that isn't raped. It's a bike that isn't been overridden.
Yeah, exactly. It's the entry, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
to get it from that's a nice bike to, oh my God, that's maybe the best example. That's probably easily another $5,000.
That will
So
be the most
now,
beautiful 1980 Dodge Omni anyone's ever seen.
right? But you see, but now you've got a $10,000 KZ400. Is it worth it? Yeah, to some people it might be.
Now, you guys want to know something
Liza.
interesting about this bike?
It's
So I have the title from 1983, I want to say. 1983
Damn.
is when this last owner purchased it.
So 8 years old.
1983. Yes,
Yep.
8 years old. And that's, I think, when he put on a lot of the Mac pipes and the sissy bar and stuff, probably. But 12,000 miles, and it's clean, like the hub, the rims, the spokes clean, the pipe, like everything's clean, which is really weird. I have a theory, and I did some hunting to try and find the owner. I thought, old man who died, maybe, right?
Right.
I found who I think the owner is because he has an unusual name. He's in Wisconsin, and he's about my age.
Wow.
He's a 6'8" school teacher.
The original.
I have a theory, if he's about my age, that this might have been the first bike he ever bought when he was a young lad.
Yeah.
And then it ended up in like mom's garage. Dad. And
I thought you were going to say he's your long lost twin. Is he?
No,
Is he
no.
from Utah? Where?
No, Wisconsin. But I'm like, how could somebody 6'8" ride it? Well, they couldn't, which is probably why. Like I said, probably bought it when he was a young man and then parked it, and it sat all that time.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
I'm believing that any original exhausts and things might be hanging in his garage.
I know. I kind of want to reach out to him and ask him more about the story of the bike. But hey, it is a project.
You've done enough lifting. You figured out who he is.
Emma, speaking of projects, how
Yes,
things go at the garage today?
No, everything went quite well. We had quite a busy day. We had a few old friends come back, and Quiet Matt showed up.
Hey, quite
All
nice.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a googly-eyed scooter, and yeah, we got a great deal done. I did an alignment on an Africa Twin. Everybody's got Africa Twins these days.
What did
We
you
did.
align?
Did you
'Cause
whack
mine
it
is
like you did with
definitely
Jim's?
Yes.
Mine is very misaligned at the moment. I can tell you that.
Well, you've crunched it 5 times since I aligned it.
Oh, and my shoulder.
And we did the preload adjust on a CBR 250, and yeah, it was just a very, very nice day.
Cool. Like a rear shock preload?
Yep. Tight as always. But here's the interesting thing: in every market, that bike comes with quite a comprehensive toolkit, including a spanner for the rear shock.
Right.
The exception is North America. Why do you think that is?
Cost?
Litigation. Lawyers. They don't want you. They don't
Because
want you.
in other countries, they're inclined to put like packages on the back, right? Load them up.
Because in the United States, they call it a wrench.
You know, well, I think everyone's got a bit of a valid point, but I think Phil is the closest.
Yeah.
Because we've become so litigious in this country.
There are no.
There's warning after warning. Do not touch this bike unless you are a qualified mechanic. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you were a qualified mechanic, you'd have your own fucking tools. So we're not going to give you anything in this tool bag that could get you into trouble, because we don't want to hear from your lawyer when the wheel fell off.
Right. But you know, the CBR 250 and its newer sibling, the 300, is definitely a world bike and an aspirational bike. I mean, they sell it all over the world. And even in England, they come with quite a comprehensive toolkit. So it seems like America's being left out. And I think you are the closest, Phil, because it's easy to go, oh, stupid Americans, wouldn't know how to adjust a shock. But that isn't true. But what I think is true is Honda are trying to be very, very mindful of litigation if people start monkeying around with their bikes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but 18 years ago, when the Bajaj scooters came back to America, this is a 4-cycle scooter. It's got a 4-speed grip shift transmission, and it was completely serviceable. It was a really good quality built bike. You could ride the living tar out of them, and they got really good mileage, but the toolkit was exceptionally good. And the toolkit that came with this bike would lay even an original 70s Vespa toolkit in the weeds. It had a jack for propping up the back of the bike so you could change the rear tire without lying the thing on its side. And those jack stands, they were just a semicircle on one end, a shaft with a little foot on it. But those things became like fucking sought after. Those were Easter eggs. And I saw guys would go and look at crashed Bajajes, open the glove box and try to find that rear jack stand so you could change your tire without getting the bike on its side. But there were many parts in that toolkit that were really smart and made sense with the owner's manual for servicing the bike. And that was a 2002. So that was 2002, 2003. At the exact same time, the Vespa toolkit had a screwdriver that you could flip over and it would be a Phillips head or a flathead, and a spark plug wrench that was the only way to get the spark plug out of the bike, was with the spark plug wrench that came in the kit. Those were the 2 fucking tools in a Vespa toolkit. The Bajaj gave you a nice tool roll with about 14 tools in it. Yeah.
Nice.
And funnily enough, in my toolkit at work, I've got this in the top shelf of my toolbox, which is like where everything goes. Mm-hmm. I've got this little box which originally held NGK spark plugs, and it is filled with OEM spark plug wrenches. Yeah. Because if you're working on Gixxers, or you're working on RF 900s, or you're working on this, or you're working on that, oftentimes the only wrench that will go in is the OEM one. I'll tell you a bike that was notorious for it was the Honda XL600 and the 650.
I was going to say the XL350 that I had.
Same. It's the
really
same.
Deep well, and I have
deep and it's tight, and you can't get a proper sized spark plug socket in there. You have to use.
Yeah, the Honda PC800 had a spark plug wrench in it that had a built-in wobble.
Yes, we have that one here.
It's insane. You had a freaking built-in wobble, and it was just exactly the right amount of universal on it. Don't call it an actual universal joint. It's not. It's just like slightly bad manufacturing. But it's the only way you can get the damn thing in the hole. Wow. And I've got a wall full of wrenches, and I've chased it around, and I eventually said, fuck it, I can't get the plugs out of this goddamn thing. I'm going to have to literally go get a PC800 toolkit to get the plugs out. And that's the only thing that works. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Honda Versal wrench, or socket.
It is, man. Yeah.
You guys want to read some emails?
Love to.
Sure.
Bagel, there's one requires an accent. I emailed it to you if you can get that ready.
Right.
All right.
But I wanted to get somebody's out of the way. This is from our friend Rowdy Reimer, and he says, "Hey Misfits, I'm listening to your latest podcast and hear more Sportster talk. I don't know if you heard Phil. Last one I said, one day I think I will own a Sportster. They're becoming more and more attractive to me.
I love Sportsters.
I think so. And he says, I agree the older Sportsters are better. One huge thing for those who wrench on their own bikes to keep in mind with Sportsters is that 2003 and earlier Sportsters have trapdoor access to the transmission. You don't have to split the case to pull the transmission out. Keep on kicking ass and get better knock.
Hey, thanks, Rowdy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
That's a huge thing right there. Honestly, I'm surprised more bikes don't have a pan. Like the CB750 has a pan on the bottom of it. You don't have to split the case.
To do what?
Well, if you drop a bolt down there, like knocked.
Right. Yeah.
To clean it out, to get the junk out.
But you should never discount being able to pull a transmission without an engine. So here's a tale of two bikes. The one bike is the R1, and the other bike is the Kawasaki ZX-10. So we have a Yamaha R1, Kawasaki ZX-10. Both bikes famously had transmission problems that had to be rectified under warranty. Flat rate on the R1, 15.9. 15.9. Flat rate on the Kawasaki, 2.8.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because
All right.
the Kawasaki pull the clutch, pull the transmission sprocket, pull the transmission out.
Right.
And Kawasaki gave you the individual parts.
Mm.
Yamaha gave you the gear clusters.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So yeah, being able to, pull stuff with the engine in situ. I love Sportsters. You know what? If a mid-70s, 74, 75, 76 AMF Sportster came up, more stock the better, I would be all over it, like fleas on a dog's tail. I love those things.
You know what turned it around for me was Art of the Motorcycle. They have that red and black Sportster in there with a little solo saddle.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like an early one though. That's like a 50s one. Isn't it?
Yeah. Real early. But that's always been on my mind.
I'll tell you what, the Motorcycle News tested a Sportster in 1962 and said, famously, it was the fastest bike they'd ever tested. Including Vincent's.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is. It seems improbable, but
It does. However, I have a suspicion that Harley Davidson supplied them with a very hopped up
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Sportster.
If I had to
And
put-
when you see this thing, it doesn't even have lights. I mean, it's obviously a competition bike.
You ain't trying kind of a thing, huh?
Yeah.
Next email, and this one is from our friend Tom from the Throttle Podcast.
Oh, Tom. Hello, Throm.
And he had some helpful information. We were talking about how there isn't advanced riding classes for scooterists.
But you do have to keep in mind that Tom does have a certain accent.
Oh, Georgia accent?
Got a bit of a Georgia accent.
Georgia.
Oh, this
Don't get
is
me
going to be
started.
one for Knock.
So he's a MSF instructor and rides a Vespa GT as well as a BMW R1200 GS. We were talking last week about why aren't there advanced classes for scooterists? You'd think that there may be there's different technique on the scooter. So he said he's had scooter riders in his basic riding class where they brought their own scooters in the class. The main difference in instruction are the mechanics for slow speed maneuvers in the absence of a clutch and having a CVT transmission, which like we went through today with our training. Basically, it's a combination of keeping some throttle up and maintaining speed control by dragging the rear brake. It's really the only difference in technique, and the rest of the skills are the same. For more advanced scooter riding, there is no course that I know of. However, for instruction, it would be mostly the same as with advanced motorcycle skills training on line selection, road evaluation. A couple of differences may be to move a little forward for aggressive riding, since the scooter is naturally rear weight biased, and since there is no tank to knee grip. add more upper body positioning, kiss the mirror. Other than that, grip it and rip it.
Nice.
But maybe that's something that needs to happen. And somebody like Bagel who could do advanced scooter riding.
Yes.
If
Philippe,
there's
darling, I just sent you a picture of a Lincoln Continental.
Oh boy.
And this is
probably going to get me in trouble.
No, not at all.
Bagel, do you have an email
Yes.
there to read?
Yes, I have an email from Jonathan Rashley.
Hello,
There you go.
Jonathan.
Jonathan writes, "Hi guys, I recently discovered your podcast and it's really helping me get through my home renovations in a freezing cold Melbourne winter."
It's winter.
Yeah, it's the middle of bloody winter in Melbourne.
Good Lord.
Yes. Anywho, picking up on the conversation last week after the Ducati mistake, I was interested in Emma's response that an early BMW could be a great choice for a bike and one that could just kept being rebuilt.
Yes.
This sort of bike appeals to me, and I've always liked the old Beamers. I'm wondering if you could point me towards the pick of these bikes, and preferably one that would be a great choice for restoration. It seems that down under, the 80s bikes are a bit cheaper, so one from that decade may suit better, but happy to hear about 70s era candidates too. I'm currently restoring my first bike, a 1976 Yamaha XS 500C, and while it's been a learning curve, I've really enjoyed getting it running again. So I'm a bit of a newbie, but I have successfully rebuilt carbs, brakes, set valve clearances, and installed an electronic ignition, so my skills are slowly improving. Thanks so much for any advice, Misfits. Love the show. Jonathan, Melbourne, Australia.
Hey, Jonathan,
Dude.
thanks.
I
right,
have
that's
some
a
advice
great
for you,
email.
Jonathan. I have
That's a
some
great
advice
email.
for you, darling. So, 80s BMWs are getting a little more on the complex side. The R65 LS is quite a good bike. It's like a factory cafe racer. The 45 is considered probably the worst bike in the world, so avoid the R45. However, neither of those is my suggestion. The darling of the restoration crowd is the Slash 5. And that's the R75/5, the R50/5, the R6. These are the ones that everybody wants and therefore are expensive. However, if you want a very similar bike with very similar styling, if you go up to the Slash 6, the only real difference between a Slash 5 and the Slash 6, the Slash 5 is quite a charming headlight with a speedo and attack built in. It's very traditional. The Slash 6 has a slightly more conventional camera case instrument pack. But they're great bikes. You can rebuild them over and over again. I would go, if you're a fan of power, get an R100/6. If you don't mind puttering around, get an R50/6, which famously Elspeth Beard rode around the world.
And you may not have known this, but I actually had an R80/7, I think.
Yeah, by the time you get
7.
into the 7s, you're getting up there. 6 to me has all the traditional BMW styling, but it's not at 5 money. Because
So
the 5s fetch big money now.
Yeah.
This gentleman said he was in New Zealand or Australia?
Australia.
Australia.
There's plenty of Slash 6s in Australia.
Yeah. Okay.
Australia
Yeah,
was a
wondering.
massive market.
Okay.
It was far bigger than England, kind of smaller than America, but there's less people in Australia than America.
Yeah.
But it was everything we got in the 70s, they got. And in a lot of ways, they got better bikes because they got a lot of Japanese home market bikes because of their proximity to Japan.
Yeah, the XR 650R was actually a street legal bike over there.
So the Japanese invested heavily in Australia. And in Melbourne, I was out in Melbourne in 92 or 93, and Seiko, the watch manufacturer, have this giant mall, this shopping mall in Melbourne. And if I remember right, there's this massive wristwatch, and it's probably about 50 feet across. And on the hour, the whole of the front of the wristwatch kind of opens up, and all these figurines come out and do goofy shit. But it's amazing. And it's Seiko. So, yeah, I went off on one of my tangents. Tra-la-la.
What are we talking about? There you go. So any of the /6 series.
Any of the /6s I think are great. /5s are better still if you can find one.
Right.
But certainly here in America, /5s, they're the glamorous ones. They're the ones that fetch the money.
All right, who's hitting the horn? Jim. Is that you?
Oh, that's the neighbors. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I accused Jim. He's got that smarmy look on his face, like he's doing something under the table. It must be he doesn't have pants on.
Wait,
He's got
I'm
that
gonna check
look.
you. If you were paying attention, I had my shit muted because I was listening to Miss Emma preach. She was preaching, son. I thought that was a great response. So I'm going to go mute again, so pick on somebody else.
All right, got one more email, and this is more good information, and it's, once again, from our friend Rowdy Reimer.
Hey, Rowdy Reimer.
This time he says, on a recent podcast, I heard the discussion about buells, and I would like to mention that I've had considerable success finding parts for my 98 M2 Cyclone. My Buell comes from a time when there was very little difference between the Buell and Sportster engines, so anything engine or transmission related can be found quite easily, and the parts are often brand new. When I needed to replace my rocker box gaskets, the brand new Sportster gaskets worked fine. Same with the oil pump drive gear. I was able to replace the rear isolators and the rubber portion of the front isolator using brand new equivalents for the older Big Twin Harleys. Because many of the parts are not Buell or Harley specific, I was able to find new brake pads, fork seals, and a fuel tap with little trouble. The key to maintaining an old Buell is often doing a little detective work. Brand new parts are out there once you know how to find them. Get better knock, he says.
Thank you.
That's a good tip because, you know, in both these cases, like we've done the blanket statement, or at least I have. Tell me if you disagree. I say avoid 90s BMWs. Just avoid 90s BMWs. Right? Because the technology would come in and something's going to go wrong and it's going to cost you more than it's worth to fix it. It's unfortunate. But we've also said things like avoid Buells or maybe even like what about like Victories, bikes that have gone out of business. Can you get parts? You should avoid it.
Can we clarify that you said avoid Buells? Don't let us all in this fucking shit show, man.
Well, that's why he has a good point. I mean, we say it in general, avoid a bike that's been discontinued. I mean,
well, we had a 20-year-old V92C, so that's a Victory. It's a V92C, but it's 19 years old. It's 2001, and not having a good time finding parts for that thing.
Right.
Yeah, but the saving.
Sorry, Bagel.
Oh, just the same. The saving grace for Buell is that they share so much DNA with Harley that that so many parts are still available, even though Buell's been gone for years.
Right. But I like the point also that other parts were sourced from not Harley, but from manufacturers that you can still get.
Well, this is where I get terribly patriotic and say how inferior you all are, because I just picked up a 50-year-old Triumph.
Right.
And every single component on that bike, every nut, bolt, screw, hose, everything is available brand new.
Wow.
And going back, pretty much any English bike within reason, Triumph, Norton, Royal Enfield, PSA, from the Second World War on, it is not hard to get parts for.
No, and
the only thing that will trip you up is tinware.
Yeah, but you'll also be able to get all of the Whitworth tools you'll ever need as all the COVID victims.
Yes,
oh, no.
Exactly. And that's the problem. All we have to do, you see, what I've taken to doing now is I just scan the deceased notices in the local paper and you call them up and say, how many BSAs do you have in the garage, dear? And she said, oh, my husband had 3. I said, well, I'll give you $20 for them. I'll take them off your hands, doing you a favor. See, and that's how it works.
Yeah, but Phil, you're the one who's told me never buy an old Goldwing.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
But you'll be able to buy 6 of them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the trick. Buy 6. You have
Buy
enough
6
parts
of
to
them.
go around.
You'll be able to get 6 2002 Goldwings in no time flat. And they'll literally just be, please come and get these things out of my garage so I can sell the house and, and move on. Because that seems to be where their body count is. The body count seems to be on these folks that are older. And that's a weird thing in the motorcycle industry, because there are certain motorcycles that do tend to be ridden by folks over 65 years old.
And the Goldwing is one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's funny because I often get asked, I'm in a couple of, because of the turbo bike, I'm in a couple of Goldwing only clubs. And, you get the new guys come in and say, oh, how come you can buy these bikes so cheaply?
Right.
And it's one of two answers. And as you say, it's number one, it appeals to the seniors. But secondly, I can't think of a contemporary bike that would be as expensive to resurrect.
Right. That's exactly right.
Aside from maybe a CBX.
Yeah.
But Goldwings, if you buy a broken down old Goldwing, just getting it running to any kind of standard, it's massive money.
And this is, I don't know if you guys know this, but that is a bike that we will not work on at our shop. So we have an absolute no Goldwing policy. And we're not kidding. I'm not fucking around. Like, the reason for the no Goldwing policy is real clear. It's because they all come in for one problem, but their owners don't know about the other 16 problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to get to the one problem, you have to navigate through the 16. They are very, very... And before this turns into a we hate Goldwing session, early Goldwings are glorious bikes. They had 86 horsepower when everyone else was messing around in the 60s.
Right.
They actually handle quite well. They're very, very pleasant bikes to be on. But to get to that point now, and the trouble is, because it tended to be older people who owned them, they do tend to get neglected a little bit.
Yeah.
If you really want a fright, look up what Honda won for a GL1000 gas tank. Honda still list the GL1000 gas tank as a brand new part.
Yeah, it's got to be astronomical.
Oh, it'll straighten your hair. The last time I looked, it was $4,000.
Oh, shit.
Not shot.
Wow.
That's the last time I looked that it was still available. I mean, it's
one of those things that if you get a Generation 1 Valkyrie and you're like, okay, I'm going to get a Valkyrie because that's fun and hipper and more of a cruiser, you are missing none of that. They all the exact same problems with vapor lock, with starter sprite clutches exploding, like all that stuff is exactly the same with the Gen 1 Valkyries, and parts are just as hard to get on these bikes that came in so many years after the Goldwings. So when somebody tells you, it's like, oh, I got this, this Valkyrie, it's only got, 12,000 miles on it, but it won't start, it won't crank, the starter just spins, it hasn't been run in 10 years, run the fuck away. That is not a good place for you to spend your money. Not unless you're going to bump start it.
So that's a good tip. Going back to Rowdy, the early Buells, don't be so scared of them because of parts you can still get.
Yeah.
I want to wrap it up. Thank you, Phil, for joining us. You want to tell people how they can find you?
You can just go to Cleveland Moto anything. We're pretty easy to find. Tomorrow, I'm going to be leaving in about 4 hours from now. I have to drive to Maryland to pick up some weird little cars.
Hey,
so fun.
how's the crazy car selling thing going, man? It sounds like you're doing pretty awesome.
No, it's gotten slow because of the corona. Because again, these are things that you drive so people say shit to you and come up and talk to you and stuff. And now people are like, I don't want you to come and talk to me about my weird fucking car.
Yeah.
So now it's less likely for people to want to buy something that's a little freak show on wheels. But I did do the Hello Godzilla one. with the escargot with the Hello Kitty and the Godzilla.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That thing has been the fucking crowd pleaser. It's been the most fun car I've ever owned because people just see it. And hardened assholes, like guys who are just permanently resting bitch face shit eating dudes, they'll see this thing and they'll be like, yeah, okay. It's hilarious and cute and adorable.
Do you still have the hearse?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got the hearse. I had a guy come in the other day, wants to buy the hearse. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, come to my house and I'll bring it out and you can check it all out. And, I mean, I'll sell the hearse if I get my money.
Now, is that a Cressida base or a Crown base?
It's my hearse is a Crown base.
Okay, so it's big straight six.
Straight six, rear drive, yeah.
Yeah.
So Phil, your next market's got to be like the well-to-do goth kids in high school. You got that extra coin that with a tech money, you just sell fucking weird cars and hearse and shit.
Fucking weird, like, and these are the weirdest of the weird freaking cars. And people either absolutely get it and they love it, and they don't give a shit that it's 25 years old and they have to work on it.
Yeah.
They really get it. And the other people that are just so fucked up are people like, oh, it's adorable and I want a daily driver. I'm like, no, you stay away. I don't want your money because you're a fucking problem.
I just realized you are selling the car version of the Honda Unicorn.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's exactly true. And that's what people all the time is like, well, can you bring me this bike in from Japan? Can you bring me this, this Japanese motorcycle that's 25 or 30 years old? Everybody wants a 400 Interceptor. Everybody wants these bikes. And I'm like, no, I will not fucking do it. Cars are hard enough, and cars don't usually fall over. The horrible things that can happen to a motorcycle in transit, no, I'm never going to fucking do it. There's just no way. And I'll stick with the cars. The cars come in, they come in great, and it works really well. But yeah, until I can be there and load them into a container, strap them into a container, make sure they're packaged correctly, and be there on the front end as well as on the back end, I'm not going to get involved with the bikes. Yeah, too many horror stories.
But to any of our listeners who haven't listened to Cleveland yet, I highly recommend it. I mean, you've been doing it, gosh, for as long as we have, Phil, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Longer.
I have no idea when we started. Thank you. Nice shirt.
You are definitely one of the original Moto podcasts, and definitely worth a listen. There is drinking involved.
Excessive drinking involved.
I'm pretty sure that when I was a guest on your show, as the show ended, I was the only one remaining sober.
Well,
thank you, Jim, doing his part.
For this week and the week before, we are back in the shop. So we're back in the shop. We've bought longer microphone cables, and we're pushing everybody back away from the table. And we've got less people showing up, so we don't have the 8-person or 9-person roster that we normally do.
Right.
It's worked, and it's funny because now that we're back in the same room together, the stupid factor's gone way back up again.
Nice!
Because we can have crosstalk,
So, and also I want to remind everyone, you can find more info for us at motorcyclesandmisfits.com. Remind everyone that I do still have a few of the new t-shirts left in large and extra. I think I'm out of extra large. Large. If you become a supporter on Patreon for $5 or more, I will send you a shirt, and you can find that at Patreon/Motorcycles and Misfits. I'm pretty sure I made that up. Something like that. But I wanted, as we go out, I wanted to go around and have everyone tell me, if you had the ability to name a new bike and you were going to choose an animal name that isn't being used, what would you use?
Oh, that's a tough one.
All right.
I was not expecting that one.
I know. God, I'm so glad the unicorn was taken. I will say I would do a bike called the Penguin.
A what?
A penguin.
A penguin?
Yeah. Dude, those things are harsh, man. Those winters they go through and those long treks they do. Like, they look like a cute little thing, but and you see them like flying in the water. That's exactly how I want to feel when I'm riding.
It'll have a front ski option.
Yeah, I'm saying this is going to be a winter bike, right?
I'm gonna have the penguin. All right, who else? Jim, you got a animal you want
Heck yeah, I got one.
What you got?
Santa Cruz, son. Vampire.
Vampire.
Hmm.
Okay, an animal.
It's a vampire. It's a bat. Vampire bat. Don't you read National Geographic?
That is a good one.
It's an actual
Vampire.
bat.
Lost Boys. Lost Boys, Vampires, Santa Cruz.
When you said Santa Cruz, I thought you were going to go, the banana slug.
You say banana slug. I say vampires. You know,
That would definitely. Yeah, that would definitely be like a Pakistani market name.
Bagel, you got a name for us?
I was going to say I could pick out a scooter name.
Sure.
Call a scooter the Mink.
The Mink.
The Mink?
I don't think there's any bike named that.
Is it going to
but Mercury did, but Mercury did have a sable.
This is true.
All right, Knock.
It would be a motard, and it would be called the Honey Badger.
Honey Badger.
Yes.
Sure.
Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that.
Kind of cheesy, but what are you going to do?
Emma, what are you going to name the new bike?
I would take the tiniest, most feeble, tiny moped that makes the riding position of the Liberty seem almost macho. I would call it the Thundercat.
Yes.
All right, Phil.
I think I would have to take the Triumph 2500 motor. I would take
the rocket motor, yeah.
the rocket
Call
motor.
it the kitten.
And I would take that and I would build it into a 100% Street Fighter. And I would call it the Red Panda.
Nice.
Because how could you not want that?
I want it now.
I want to know. They're fucking adorable, man.
Good one. Well, yeah, that was fun. I had fun looking those up. I had no idea there were that many motorcycles named after.
It is like the anal game. I'm pretty sure we could go on with that for another couple hours if we tried.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Emma, who we now learned just buckles under pressure.
Did you guys know that you could play the anal game not just with motorcycles, but also with campers when you're on a long road trip?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It goes perfectly too, like the anal windjammer or something like
There's
that.
a lot of campers that are perfectly named for the anal game.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about British carburetors, darling. My hearing's getting
anal.
so bad.
No. Emma, are you familiar with the anal game?
We got to
No,
pause.
what is the anal game?
Okay, go ahead, Phil, explain it.
You take the name of any motorcycle and you put the word anal in front of it. So a Suzuki would be an anal intruder.
Right.
And then you would, of course, have like the anal Hornet, and you could have the anal Interceptor. And it just goes on forever. But
Anal Bandit.
The anal bandit.
Yeah.
And when you start doing travel trailers and campers, it really is funny because then you just can't stop seeing it. So you're going down the road and you see the name of the the Featherlight Commander, and you're like, oh, it's the anal Featherlight Commander.
Nice.
The one that we had today.
Instead of the heavyweight, huh?
Which
the
one?
anal Thor Outlaw. So when you've got
We have to be careful because me and Liza are going to be trapped in a travel trailer for
I
like
know.
2 weeks. I don't want too much talk about anal nothing.
You're gonna have to get some letters and put them up there when you're
Yes,
traveling.
you are. Yeah.
The dances
I
and
recommend
rules
leakage.
means a whole new thing.
Oh my god. Well, thank you everyone for making it this far. And if you haven't yet, as we mentioned earlier, go check out on YouTube Recycle Santa Cruz, and you'll find all of our new videos and our old videos and a little bit in between. We also put our our Zoom there. So if you want to see what's happening when we're doing these calls.
And, if I could add how impressed I am with Phil, because this is a first for you, isn't it, Phil? Actually closing a podcast sober.
Yes, I am. Because again, I'll be on the road in 4 hours, so I decided Yeah.
So this is what saying goodnight to everybody sounds like when you haven't got a lot of beer.
Never
inside
heard it. Never.
I know.
All right, let's take this one out. Thanks everyone for listening. This is Liza.
Emma, darling.
This is not.
Bagel.
Funky Phil.
Naked Jim, son.
And we are out of here.
Right fast, take chances.
Ohio rocks.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Phil. That was fun.
Hey,
Dude, that was super.